This is one of those rare instances where the pond is already perfect, but we're gonna rip it out. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Hey everybody, it's Jack from Atlantis Water Gardens. Today we are in Mendham, New Jersey. We've got an existing pond that's gonna get a complete overhaul. Now this pond is absolutely gorgeous. It's got such an awesome feel. Somebody really put a lot of time into building this whole pond system. So we've got a lower pond here that's behind these boulder walls, which has these really great rocks in the background. You're talking about multiple tons. That is a big rock right there. Beautiful weeping hemlock coming over the side of it. Another large boulder here framing the waterfall. You got some walkways that go up around the side, and you get more visions of water features. So you've got a nice pond here, which is used for lilies and other aquatic plants, and then the waterfall falling into the main pond down below. Nice bridge that you cross over. Really, the environment here is spectacular. Somebody did a great job with the landscape design and the water feature itself. So what the heck are we doing here? What they did was they placed boulders on the ground, and then they poured or shot concrete around it, just like this. This boulder is sitting on the ground. They put concrete up around it, but what's happening is the concrete is all separating, cracking, coming apart. We've got giant holes here. The system is just not holding water. I could see over time there's been some patchwork done here trying to stop the leaks, but that's all temporary fixes. It just does not work. The thing is, boulders sitting on the ground over the winter here in New Jersey are going to move, and when they move very slightly. It's from the freeze. So when the ground freezes, it expands, moves the boulders ever so slightly. Problem is, concrete does not move. So when it does move, it just starts cracking, starts to get micro fractures, and every year it gets worse and worse and worse, to the point where now it gets like major fissures in the concrete shell, and it's pretty much shot. So as beautiful as this pond is, it actually doesn't work anymore. If you turn it on, try and run the waterfalls, it just starts to lose water instantly. We are going to remove this entire thing, jackhammer out all these concrete ponds. What I really want to try and do is take a lot of the boulders that we pull out of here, especially the ones down here in this lower section along the pond, and try to stage them up top in a similar fashion. I'd love to put this back together as close to what it is now as possible. It's not going to be exact. You're working with natural stone, and trying to put it back in the exact same spot is pretty much impossible. But we'll put our little spin on it. We'll probably change up the waterfall, kind of give it our style. There's gonna be an intake-based skimmer at the far end, so we're gonna make this very functional. The pond is gonna be about 3 feet deep at the lower section. We're gonna try and get it really close up to here. So right now it's sloping up with the concrete. We'll probably bring some stonework right up against these rocks. These rocks are actually gonna stay. This is a structural retaining wall, so that's gonna stay here, right at the front of the house. As we're looking at the front doors, this is obviously the main focal point. This upper pond section, we are going to convert this into a constructed wetland filter. So it's still going to look like a pond, a very shallow one, but in here, this is what's going to be filtering this lower pond. We will be lining the entire thing with 45 mil EPDM rubber liner, along with our fabric to protect everything. This bridge will come out temporarily, and then it will be put back in once we're finished. Access is kind of tight. This tree actually has to get cut down to get our machines in here. We're gonna pull those boulders out, get in here, get these ponds emptied out, get a little bit of a road established, and then the boys are gonna get the jackhammers and get to work. Man, these guys have been busting their butts over here for over a day and a half to get this pond out of here. When you're dealing with like demo and rehab of a concrete pond, it's always a crapshoot. You really have no idea how these things are built. That's just one of the pieces that came out of here. You can see how much rebar is in it. The thickness varies so much. I mean, you've got right here, you've got 18 inches of concrete. Over here, you got 8. You just can't even guess how much is going to be in there when you're taking a look at it, and exactly how much time it's going to take to get it out. Oh my goodness, the pieces coming out of here are just humongous, and that's what makes these renovations so expensive, is the what ifs. Like, what if it's super thick? What if it's full of rebar? What if it's full of metal? And here we hit all the what ifs. It had all that stuff going on, so it was a real chore to get this stuff out. But these guys did an excellent job. We're just about getting all the concrete out of here, and once this is all loaded out and we've got a clean slate, now we can start from scratch building this water feature. But for the rest of the day too, they got their hands full. 4 days in, and we're finally starting to do some rock work in this pond. We've got our double, triple layer of fabric in our excavation. Over in there, we've got concrete cloth effect from what's behind the liner over there, and we are starting to rock in the bottom of the pond. This is going to be our 3-foot deep section here. It's going to jump up to about 18 inches, where then it goes over to our intake base skimmer. Our pondless vault is in place. That's where the pumps will be housed. We're running 2 pumps in here. We're going to go with 2 Surumi 5 PL pumps. We're going to be feeding one to our constructed wetland filter. The other one's going to go all the way to the top of the waterfall, and that's going to feed the headwaters of the waterfalls. Next to that, we've got 4 small aqua blocks. That's giving us surface area. So basically, we're going to dam this up. We're going to do rock work in front of this, and we're going to leave an opening in the middle where water can be skimmed in. It'll be about 8 inches deep. This way, the fish can actually swim in and out of here. When it's finished, it'll pull that water in there, and it'll just be swirling in there to be removed with a nice skimmer net. Josh is working on the bottom. He's doing some stacked stone work up against the edge of the existing outside wall. We want to keep that really tight, so when you walk up to the edge of the wall, the water is right there with just a buffer of some aquatic plants in between. So you'll be walking up to the wall, just be like a nice little buffer of plants, and the pond's gonna be right there. On the other side, I'm about to get started with setting some large frame rock boulders. We're gonna start down the bottom section over here, kind of setting the corner, and then come back inside. That's gonna be about a 12-inch shelf where the waterfall is. So I want to just do some structure work in front of it and then layer back to where our waterfall is gonna be constructed, which of course is my favorite part of every single water feature, the waterfall. Let's get it rolling.
We get a lot of questions about our light whips, how we do them, why we do them. So let me show you guys how we put these light whips together. A few things. We have the funny irrigation pipe that we use that will run actually into the irrigation boxes themselves with the light cord ran through. And then we have our 3-inch cups that's made of our 3-inch flex PVC that we sell at the shop and that we're using on most of our jobs. But we'll take a little piece, a couple inches long, we'll drill a hole in the back, and then like here, we drop the light in. So we'll put the cord through the hole, go through the cup and out the hole in the back, and then the light will actually just sit in the cup. They're pretty much a perfect fit, and then I'll tuck that cord in and that light is good to go. The cups help retain a shape where the light is in the pond. So say it's in like a stacked wall, you have the cup around it, there won't be any kind of falling work into the spot where the light is because you have that cup holding the structure around it. And it also makes it so you don't have to rush to try and get a light back in a certain spot where you have some rocks resting on it and it could possibly cause an avalanche of a wall. So I'm gonna take some of this air hose, run it through our irrigation pipe so that way I can pull all the light cord through, and then these light whips will be good to go. You can see I already started. I pushed the light cord in a little bit. I'm gonna drag it all out this way so that way I can just pull it right through. You can see on this end is that a little bit of air hose that I was telling you that we put through the whole irrigation pipe so that way I can pull the light cord through, but it is super easy and super helpful. And this is your finished product. This is what it's gonna look like. So the irrigation pipe actually goes a little bit into the hole you drilled into this cup and it'll sit in there just like so. You want it to be a little bit of a snug fit so that way the pipe doesn't actually come back out and then your cord is kind of loosely flopping around in there, and then when you go to replace a light you have a hard time getting a chase cord back through. The light, like I said, it sits flush in that cup because these, believe it or not, these cups, they're not actually made for it, but they are just a perfect fit and they work so well. And then right here on this end, a little bit of light cord hanging out and just a tape at the end so that way it doesn't recede back into it and then you have to redo it. But that is how we put together our light whip. Super simple and easy. Give it a thumbs up. I don't want to work in this. I know Bully doesn't, right? Neither does Brennan.
No. Taking a look at it, it is pretty well rotten. There's a lot of rock going down through these posts, and to put it back in place just to remove it in a couple of years doesn't make a whole lot of sense.